Hello. Here we are
Again.
Today. Well, we were talking yesterday about mood and setting and things like that. And today we wanted to talk about sort of along the same lines, but emotion and really pulling your reader in by making them feel. So you have your setting and you have your mood of your setting, and they should feel something from that. They should know about it by how you've described it in emotion and not in whether or not it's red or blue or this or that or the other.
Okay.
Okay. You know, you were the one that come up with this. So
Actually, it was her.
Oh, was it?
No, it was Abby.
Okay.
Yeah, I came up with setting yesterday. And then she
Okay,
came
today
up
you
with today's
came up-
subject.
You did come up with today's, yes, you
Yeah, you're
did.
talking about names.
Because no, you're talking about humor.
Yeah.
She said all books should make you laugh somewhere in them.
Mhm.
And that's how you started on it. So that was how Elsa came up with this one today.
Yeah.
And what was it you said? You said about
Comic relief.
comic relief. Yeah, all books should have some kind of
Even-
comic relief,
Even nonfiction.
especially
Especially
non-fiction.
nonfiction.
Especially
If
nonfiction.
you're gonna hold your reader's attention, I mean, you might as well make them laugh at least once. That makes it more
Yeah.
memorable.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly what.
And
why.
that's a lot of teachers are very successful because they make their students laugh. They make it more
Mhm.
memorable.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Is and of course, yeah, making them laugh is probably the best thing. in the
Because that's
world.
probably the best. Okay, people
It's
remember
the
things
most
better.
positive
if-
memory.
yeah.
Mhm.
It's the most
Positive
positive
remember.
thing because people remember things better when they feel it.
Yes.
But laughing is the
Mhm.
most positive one,
Yeah.
rather than
Better,
like say
yeah.
embarrassment.
I mean, I remember some books that made me cry and, you know, that were
Yeah.
sad and this and that, but you're
Mhm.
right. The most memorable books and my favorite books are ones that made me laugh.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, it's good to
One of my
have ones
favorites.
and like to have a combination of like cry and laugh. You know,
Yeah,
like you should like
It's
Yeah,
kind of a balance.
absolutely.
You don't want to have it if
No.
you're not writing a comedy. You don't want it all to be just comedy.
no, I was just saying that you gotta laugh at the jokes, cry when
Yeah,
it's
you shouldn't
sad,
be laughing
like-
whenever a character's dying.
That's
If you're a writer-
depending.
If you're a writer, it's okay.
Yeah, whenever you
Depending on the character.
Depending on the character.
Really. What were you gonna say
I was
also?
just saying one of my favorite books. It's Ruby Raven.
Oh yeah, that was.
Mystery.
Those are funny.
I can't remember the guy's name.
Michael Bell.
Michael Bell. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
They're really funny and serious at the same time.
Yeah, there's like it's a middle grade series, and there's like people getting killed and stuff.
That's lovely.
Yeah, they're murder mysteries. And they're hilarious.
How adorable.
It's like totally the opposite of Nancy Drew, where nobody dies.
Yeah. Well, like
Well,
Scooby Doo.
sometimes Nancy Drew,
You
yeah.
know. I like
Scooby Doo. I don't think
children's people shouldn't. I don't know.
People shouldn't die in children's stories.
I
Okay,
think children's stories when people don't die.
No. Okay, so whenever I was little, so
Yeah.
okay, in school, this was, I don't know how I always ended up with the same damn books. Okay, I'd get these books on, you know, on the reading list. Okay. Every frigging stupid ass one of those books, a dog died or a kid died.
That's terrible.
There was always like, and it was just like, I don't want to read this shit.
No.
I was, oh my goodness. Yeah.
What
Okay,
happened
so.
to, you know, the cute little prancing pony happily in the field? Like,
Yeah, really. No, we got a dead dog over here. We got another dead dog over here. We got freaking Bridge to Terabithia. My goodness. Burn that book. Yeah. No, just kidding. It's a wonderful story.
Okay, yeah,
It is. But like, yeah, you turn that
But
off
the
and
Peacock's
it's okay.
party, nobody dies.
Well,
The
she
Peacock's
No,
party is
well,
the perfect
She'll understand guys.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
but
fades
yeah.
away into dust because he's a bad guy. It's not the same.
Yeah, and that's
He just
add-
nasties away.
Well, also it's different because like that's talking about
And
you
he's
know,
a
just,
bad
like,
guy.
He had to cast sometime.
It's
you know.
not like. It's just, I don't know.
But
I hated stories like
whenever
that.
there's- okay,
They were just not
sometimes-
happy.
Sometimes it's necessary, you know, for stuff like that.
Yes, I just never understood how the school book reading list
But
that we
so
had to read for
tragic.
school you know, everything was like negative. There were no happy stories. Where were these happy stories? Where,
Yeah, there
you
wasn't
know-
even happiness in the story.
Yeah, exactly. Then we got an orphan over here.
Like
We
Charlotte's
got.
Web, it's terrible.
Yeah,
hate
there you go.
Charlotte's
I
Web.
hate that.
Yeah,
Oh my
Black
freaking
Beauty
goodness.
too. I
Black
read that.
Beauty's no good.
sucks.
Okay,
I mean,
we
okay,
hate
like-
all of these classics. All right, that's what it boils down to. No, okay, I don't.
I
hate
know,
all
I
of
don't
them.
hate classics.
No, I like
Okay.
Peter Pan and.
I don't like Peter Pan.
Yeah, well, I like Peter
I don't like the story of Peter Pan. It's stupid.
Pan.
The only Peter Pan
No, I
that's
literally
worthwhile
just
is
read
the
the book
movie.
and I liked the book. You think it's okay? I
Okay,
like
you
it.
mean that the
It's
book
like,
is better
no.
than okay.
No.
No, the book is not better.
No, because
He does not.
Is I thought it was a little more along the lines of Hans Christian Andersen.
No, Peter Pan is
Like
a very
everybody dies.
book.
Hans
And-
Christian Andersen, everybody dies.
The only people
Like-
that die are the pirates.
I'm trying to think of some
Captain Hook dies, okay? What's wrong with that?
I'm trying to think of some classics I like where not everybody dies.
And I also, The Little Princess, I really like that too. That's
Well,
a nice
I don't-
concept.
Does the little
Princess
princess
is
father
awesome.
die?
No.
Does he
Yeah.
actually die in the real
Yes,
story?
he
Actually,
does.
See,
But
okay,
That
wow.
story
He's
is
not dead.
fantastic.
I like
Death. Why is there death and trauma in these children's stories?
it.
As if
That
there's
is
not enough.
a really awesome book.
Let's see if
And
you-
only the father's the only person that dies.
People die in
Only one person dies.
Exactly.
it's
It's not
good.
like a whole bunch of dead.
Now,
people.
I must admit, now this is, I will say that murder mysteries, whenever I'm reading my murder mysteries, it is exactly the opposite. I know how, I can judge how good the book is gonna be, whether or not the person dies in the first 3 chapters or not.
She usually likes ones where more.
Whenever the person is dead in the first chapter, it's almost entirely, like, it's almost always gonna be like the best book ever.
Okay.
The sooner the person dies in the story.
Well, that's a murder mystery. It's different.
I've got a line in my new book.
No, I was just saying though, like it's the little
First,
princess
the
is
dead
dead. You know, that's different.
That's actually some of the best ones. That is the first line. There was a dead body. You know, it's the first line, and the book is just it just goes fantastic
Actually,
right from there.
I
I love
actually
it.
did start a murder story. Was murder was the only thing that can get the inspector out of bed.
That's perfect. Yeah, I love it. Okay, now see, murder mysteries. The more people that die in them, actually no, because
Well,
then
yeah.
it's not a murder mystery anymore. Whenever there's a whole bunch of people.
Yeah, it's
dying,
a
because then
massacre.
no, then it's a serial killer, and
Yeah,
you know,
as I said, it's like, you know,
it's not the same.
ABC.
yeah, the ABC murders.
That
Yeah,
guy's
that
a
was
serial
good.
killer.
But that
He
was
was
the.
not.
It was not a serial killer.
It was
The
a
first
series
2
of
murders
deaths.
were to cover up for the third one.
Yeah,
It was
Exactly. It was
actually
very
really, it
clever.
was brilliant.
Yeah, but it was a series of deaths, therefore.
Yeah,
It was made to look like a maniac was doing it just so he could kill this one guy without being suspected.
Yeah, it was.
It was
Yeah, it was
fantastic. I know you know,
nice.
but it was absolutely,
I mean,
I'm letting the audience know that it was absolutely
Yeah.
fantastic for that. So it was a really good story.
Yeah, you like.
But
Bravo,
now
Agatha
see,
Christie.
murder
Okay.
mysteries should have dead people.
Yes.
Murder mysteries, hello? Okay, children's stories should not have dead people.
No, but you were saying
That's
though
all
that you
I'm
know,
saying.
they should
I
have
didn't
some.
realize that the dog dies in the darkest right.
I know, I've been thinking about that since we
Yes!
started talking about this.
Oh my
That
goodness,
is-
I forgot, yes.
The worst part of the
You're
whole
like,
thing.
my favorite stories of all time. The dog
dog.
dies.
The
But
dog, oh my
mom,
goodness.
wait,
I cried so hard when that dog died.
those books
That's
are the
the-
ones
that is
that.
If I could like tear those pages out of the book without actually hurting the book itself, without,
Mom,
yes, the dog, the
those are
Bren's
the books
dog
that make
dying.
you cry and laugh though, right?
Braun, sorry,
Um,
Braun's dog dying
Yeah, the
absolutely
little R.
tears me
Yeah.
up.
Well, that's the idea, is it's supposed to make you cry and laugh. See, there's funny parts and then that
Honestly,
makes you
why
cry,
not?
so that's what makes it a good book.
Well,
See?
And then you spoiled it for me, so I didn't even get the full shock.
because I
you read
was,
the book before me, and you're like, the dog dies. And I'm like, Elsa, you're reading the books out of order.
I didn't finish it either.
That was the only book she read, and it was the one with the dog that died.
okay, so here we are.
No, I read.
What is our point?
We were talking about.
We're talking about the dog dying
And how terrible.
and how terrible it is. Okay, if you have a story and the dog dies, do not send it to us. I don't even want to review it. Or, okay, no, I'll review it. We will say we'll review it, but you have to put a disclosure in it. You have to say, like, put a little sticky note, hey, PS, the dog dies in chapter 39, page, whatever.
So we can skip
So that
over
we
it.
can, Yes. If you have a dog dying in your book, you must add a disclosure and a little sticky note whenever you send it. So that.
And if it's a horse, same thing.
Yeah.
Oh, horses,
Horses are
yeah,
fine, yeah.
yeah.
I'll kill your horses.
No, horses shouldn't die.
It's not an ad for a toy, it was.
It's not
It was
even
a
like
never
funny.
ending story toy, and it was Artex.
Oh,
It was what?
Artex in the swamp.
Yeah,
What,
in the swamp.
from the never ending story.
Oh, the horse. Why would they?
Oh, anyways.
The package said.
What?
It said what?
Sadness included.
Sadness included. Oh my goodness, that's terrible. What the hell is this for? You're laughing. That's even worse.
It was an action figure.
An action figure.
Yeah, it was in a box. It's just a horse in a swamp. It's like,
That's terrible. Sadness included.
yeah, so like,
Oh my goodness. Okay, so
Um,
no
anyway.
dying horses, no dying children, and no dying dogs.
Mhm.
Okay. That's,
I broke about all those rules in one book.
I know,
I'm not
okay,
even gonna tell
yeah,
you about
but,
it.
all right, well, okay, now young adult fiction. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say young adult fiction is different because then we can move into, you know, the subject of death, I think a little bit better. Now, I have another point, wanna
Okay.
make out another point
Go
here.
ahead. We need more
Because for
points.
young children, there are, you know, there's times where like their grandparents die or something like that, and it is good to have like a little story or something that does kind of that they can maybe help them to understand
Yeah,
death and
Process
things like
it.
that and to process things like that. I'm not against, you know,
Yeah, like you were
children.
saying about
it's just that literally
You know,
all the
learning-
classics.
Yeah, it's okay, but the thing is when the bad guy dies, okay,
Yeah.
it's okay. We're overcoming evil, like we were talking about in a
Mhm,
different
yeah.
episode. You know, overcoming evil, that's, you know, death is okay.
Mhm.
But whenever it's like a dog, like, I'm sorry, why does the dog have to die?
Well-
No, we do not have to have, okay, these are the things, I do really have a serious thing about this. Because these are the things that are everyday tragedies, like they just suck.
Mhm.
Whenever your dog dies, and I mean, it sucks. So, like, say the little kid that's reading this book, you know, it's for like, you know, 3rd, 5th grade or whatever. You know what, their dog died, you know, a couple months ago or last year or whatever, got hit by a car or whatever. So then they're going to read this children's book, and then they're not processing anything, they're not learning anything, they're just reliving shit. This is not, you know, there's nothing magical about it, there's nothing good about it, there's nothing, what's the purpose? You know, that's my point. It's whenever you're putting emotion in a story just for the sake of putting it in there and messing with people's emotions just for the sake of doing it, that I think is wrong. And I think if you're gonna do stuff like that, I think you should take your writing and stick it. I'm sorry. I think it's wrong. And whenever, like, okay, like Bridge to Terabithia. Okay, that book was absolutely, for me personally, I mean, I hated it. I mean, hated it.
Yeah.
Hate isn't even a strong enough word. It was a wonderful story, but at the same time, personally, I hated it. It didn't help me in any way.
No.
It didn't like do anything positive for me. So for you guys, what did you get out of that story?
I
Did
didn't read it, and I remember watching the movie one time, and I don't even remember.
That's because we watched the
I was
movie
5.
one time and I had no idea what I didn't realize somebody had said the book was different than the movie or some shit, I don't remember. And I was really sorry about it. But anyways, what did you think of it? You don't remember the movie?
I don't even know what book you're talking about.
Okay, so never mind.
Yeah.
All right, I would like to hear if anybody has any comments or anything, because I do, I get pissy about stuff like this. Because I don't feel that whenever people are dealing with like everyday tragedies, I don't think need to be in stories. I think that there should be happy endings. There should be, you know, something more positive and things like that. The book I'm thinking of that I read whenever I was little was I can't remember, there was Sounder, I think was one. I don't remember what that one's about, whether the dog dies or not, or whether he just gets a dog. I don't remember. It was really terrible. The whole book, I didn't like it. anyways, whenever you're dealing with something, you're actually processing something for children, I think it is good to read it, and whenever they're conquering evil, I think that's good. But whenever we're talking about putting emotion in your stories, it's good to put emotion in your stories. It's good to have humor. It's good to make your readers feel and think and remember, and it, your story should make an impact on them.
But if it's just like,
But if it's negative, if you're making a negative impact on them just for the sake of making an impact on them, you're doing a disservice in your writing
yes.
to your readers, to the world. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, that's the
Makes
same
perfect
with
sense to me.
the little princess, even though the father dies. It's about
Yeah, I
overcoming
understand.
it, though, is what
Yes,
it's about.
that
Really.
is-
Actually, I liked the Little Princess.
Yeah, actually,
I was
that,
mainly
like, a couple
teasing about
times.
that because I think that's just
Yeah.
like, it's sad. No, I don't want to hear it. Okay, so there's a lot of that
Well,
too.
actually, I
I'm
wrote a book, it's
personally,
very similar to that.
I'm personally
but-
like that, just in a lot of ways, because I mean, I've had enough. But
Yeah,
so
so reading about the dog that died in Darkest Rising, I mean.
I did. Oh my goodness, I bawled. I was like, there were the two worst parts in that entire series was when the dog died, and then at the very end, it was terrible. I was so sad for
You
Will.
mean
Don't. Maybe other people haven't read it, and of course I might already be ruining it just by saying that the dog dies. But at least for people will be more prepared for that. I mean,
I didn't appreciate what she told me.
No, I thought the end of it was kind of sad
I was
too.
sitting there, crying. How could I not tell you?
yeah, I don't know. But it is good to have emotion in your stories, and obviously I do. I remember these stories. I remember them. They had an impact on me, but some of them they had such a negative impact on me that I will not buy those books for my children. I will not have them in my house. If I will. It's such a negative impact that I don't want anything to do with those stories or books or the writer, anything.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? That's where I'm at with it. Okay, now that brings me to one. Who was that? Mary Downing?
Mary Diane.
Yes, Downinghan, is that it? Now her books, that's something I want to talk about, is her books. Her books I really like. They often have like ghosts and stuff in them.
Yeah, which means dead
And
people.
dead people there, and these are for children.
Yeah.
And I have read, I read at least that one. I think I read it twice, because I was so impressed with it. So what it is there's dead people and there's ghosts, and the ghosts are children,
Yeah.
and the other children, they end up processing the issue that the ghost was having, the reason that the ghost is there. And in the end, the entire point of the book is about forgiveness
Yeah.
and letting go of things and
That's-
forgiving.
Yeah, the old Willis place.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's it. And
That
that's
one I
just, it's fantastic. That is such a wonderful, positive message. And here it's scary.
Yeah.
There's parts in that are genuinely, like, I'm an adult and I read it. I think I was like at least 30 or something whenever I first read it. And I was like, wow, this is actually kind of scary.
Mhm.
Like, well, the blanket's over me. Like,
They're always about like moving forward positively,
Yeah.
like forgiving and letting go, releasing negative things.
yeah, exactly. I highly recommend her.
Mhm.
Absolutely. I mean, just from that's wonderful.
Yeah.
So now those, like I said, that it dealt with tragedy, that it was scary, there was some humor in it. There was a death, a lot of, death and terrible tragedy that went on in that
Yeah, all the
story.
lovely bad ones, like, yeah.
But that was,
Yeah, that one had like a lot of dead people in it though.
but what I'm saying
It
is
was
there's a
like,
lot
yeah.
of death and tragedy and fear and all of this in this story. But because she took it and it's a positive ending, and there's, a positive
Yeah.
outcome, and there's,
Yeah.
it makes the
Wasn't
stories
just
just wonderful. They're not just random fear for the sake of fear. It's not just sadness for the sake of sadness, and it's not just, death for the sake of death.
Yeah.
That's the whole, that's my thing. We're talking about like mood, and we're talking about mood and setting and, describing people's clothes and things like that. Okay, well, it should be the same with emotion. Whatever emotional impact you're putting into your books, it should be a positive outcome for the reader in the end.
Yeah.
I mean, there should be something positive
Yeah, and
from
like
it.
it has to be relative to the story and everything. too.
Relevant.
Relevant, whatever.
Well, relative is good too. It's relevant.
I mean, well, it
relevant.
has to be relevant
Yes,
to the story.
exactly. It needs to be relevant to the story and to the characters and to
Mm-hmm.
the, the setting and everything like that. It needs to tie everything in together. But it should also, like, it shouldn't be just random. You shouldn't just have this, superfluous emotion for no reason. Like they're
Exactly,
just
yeah.
randomly laughing here in the middle of the woods, standing there for
Yeah.
no reason. Well, why? Or, you randomly throw in a joke in the middle of your story. Well, why is it there?
Yeah.
Or you randomly throw in a dead dog over here. Why is this dead dog here? What is the freaking
There
point?
was some
And if your whole
purpose in
entire
it.
story revolves around this dead dog, there damn well better be something good come out of it. Like, anyways, so how do I really feel?
Be honest, how do you really feel about this?
Anyways, enough death and dying, and unless there's a positive outcome.
There's awesome.
We were talking about comic relief, remember?
Yes,
Yeah,
make your
comic
readers
relief.
laugh instead. Don't make them cry. No, actually, it is good to make them cry. Just make them
Mix.
laugh. And give them put some
Joy.
positivity into the world with your writing. If that was another thing, you said it. You said it a long time ago. You did
Top
it.
series.
Right.
You said something a long time ago about writing in general.
Yeah.
And I was really impressed with the way that you said it and what you said is it was something to do with the fact that if you're gonna be a writer, if you're not putting something good into the world, something worthwhile for people, then why are you bothering?
Yeah.
I mean, that's just in
Well,
general
that's actually,
with everything.
Yeah.
If you're walking down the street, if you're not,
if you're walking down the street, would you rather that people see you walking and you smile at them, you wave, you tell them good morning, or you like,
yeah, are you bringing joy to the world? Are you bringing peace and happiness and joy? Or are you bringing negativity? Your writing should be the same way. It does, I'm sorry, whether it's a horror story, whether it's, a tragedy,
Yeah.
whether it's,
even if you're writing something dark, you should be shining light into somebody's life in some aspect of it when
Yeah.
reading.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And no matter what, I mean, most successful movies. How many successful movies? I mean, I don't really want an actual number.
No.
But how many successful movies are, for the majority of movies that are successful, they have a positive outcome and a happy ending, or some kind of closure that is positive and good,
Mhm.
either for the characters or the audience in some way or another.
Yeah,
All
has
stories, they should.
they
just-
should, yes. I have a blog post hidden somewhere on my laptop.
Mhm.
Several blog posts actually that I was preparing to publish. But they're about responsibility and creativity.
Yes, exactly. With great power comes great responsibility.
I
Hello,
think-
Peter Parker.
I
I mean,
think
come on.
it is the
Stan
writers.
Lee was
Yeah.
a freaking
Stanley's one of my heroes.
Yeah.
Stan Lee is my hero. Yes, absolutely. Out of all the characters, everything that Stan Lee did, yes, he himself was a hero. Because that was what he believed in. I mean, that's, with great power comes great responsibility. Just that line alone. And so if you're gonna be a writer and you have that power of the pen in your hand.
You
Okay.
can
Yeah,
either be the
never-
Green Goblin or Spider-Man.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the Green Goblin dies. He freaking goes down in flames. Guess what? The most successful writers,
The
the most successful movies, the most successful anything makes people feel good.
And also it-
Not just feel, but feel good.
Uh-huh. And you never know how far your work is gonna go. You never know who's going to see it.
Exactly.
You never know who it could help. Like if it's positive, it could really help a lot of people, or it could hurt them.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, that is absolutely right.
Not to
Well,
give
that's-
anybody like anxiety while they're writing. or anything,
No,
but-
but you should take these things into consideration whenever, I mean, it's the same as the mood and the mood and setting. I keep saying
Yeah.
mood, and, like,
That's-
it's the same as the setting. It's the same as your characters themselves. It's the same as the names that you choose for them. It's the same as like everything. These things are important. They're valuable to
Right.
stories.
I'm not saying my writing is the most positive thing, but whenever I was in the writing community
Mhm.
on Write the World, there was children all over the place. It was a children's site. There was 2 girls from India. They said that reading my story gave them something to talk about at school that made their days better. And they were always looking forward to the next chapter. And
Wow, that's really, really impactful.
a couple other girls were like, hey, you inspired me to write a novel.
Just by reading your
Just
stuff
by
because it
reading
made them feel
because
good.
it made them
Yeah.
feel good. It made them feel like they could do it too.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
I
agree with
hope they
that.
all do really good too.
Yeah. But that's,
But yeah.
that is something, I think it's, your art, we've talked about artwork.
Yes.
We have walked by, oh my goodness,
Murals.
murals and
The
some
paintings
of
in
the
the
paintings
windows.
at some of the galleries that we've seen. And some of them were like, oh my goodness, that is just awful. It
Terrifying.
makes me feel gross.
Yeah, some of
Looking
them-
at it, it makes me feel nasty. Why would I wanna have anything to do with that, or the artist that painted it?
Yeah.
And then some
Other
art,
things-
it's like, okay, it makes me think, all right, that's not so bad, it's,
This piece, they're trying to say something
They're
about
trying to-
injustice or whatever. It
yeah,
makes you
it's,
think about it and you're like, wow.
it's some
I
of
like
it,
some of it.
there's, the one, right across the street over there, that's the one, I mean, it just, it's huge,
Yeah.
this is the great big one.
Yeah.
You
No, I
can
love
see it,
that.
it
I was
embodies fear
It does.
and anxiety.
Oh, that one, I thought you the other one.
The,
No,
the other one that's,
the
Yes,
one that's
yeah,
like-
the other one.
but at the
Gives
same
fear and
time,
anxiety.
you're seeing it, it's the perspective that you're seeing it.
Mhm.
It's not a bad painting.
No,
There's
it's
nothing,
actually
it's not
It
negative.
actually gives off a very positive
Yeah, it-
energy for what it is.
Exactly, that's,
It's
yeah,
a really weird one, but
it
it's
is
good.
very weird. Yeah, I really like it. And then they have another one though, that is, similar, it's the same artist.
Mhm.
And they did one that's,
Yeah,
it's just,
that
it's
one, that
beautiful, it's
yeah, that one,
positive, it's
yeah, that
happy,
one.
it's
Mhm.
beauty, it's,
Like that
light.
artist is probably a
I've-
different person.
yeah, I would actually be
Yeah,
really
it
interested in
was-
that.
it
Speaking
is.
to that artist as a
The-
person.
The way you can see with the fear and anxiety one is understanding.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
you
an
can see it,
understanding
it's a-
perspective.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, there you go. And
So,
music, of
yeah.
course, is the same way.
Mhm.
If you like nasty music, well, guess what? You're not gonna wanna be on here, that's for sure. Music that is negative, it's the
Yeah,
same
and
thing,
also-
whenever you music that you
Mhm.
listen to, it should. I don't wanna tell people what to do, but I
Yeah.
do, like,
There's a quote often attributed to Oscar Wilde. I'm actually not sure if it's accurate or not, but life imitates art.
mhm,
It's everywhere. But art also imitates life, imitates art.
yes,
It's a cycle.
yeah, exactly, that's because it's energy,
Mm-hmm.
because it's a creative energy. You feed off of it, it feeds off of you, you create it, it feeds, it creates and feeds and grows and yes, and
Mhm.
spreads. And then, of course, we wanna get into it, I mean, then there's the ripple effect.
Well, yeah.
I mean, what you say, what you do, it goes out, and are you affecting things in a positive way or a negative way?
Yeah.
And we'll get into more of that later, but anyway, we should probably quit
Yeah.
today. We have
We're
gone
getting way too philosophical.
all we wanted to do was say that your writing should have an emotional impact on people, but at the same time, it should have a positive emotional impact. on
I
people.
thought our start out is you should make your
And you
readers-
should
put humor
make your-
in it. That's what we started with, remember?
Yes,
It was-
well, that was the whole thing is okay, putting humor in, make your readers laugh, make them feel good.
Don't be afraid to overdo the comedy in your story.
No, don't
Yeah,
be
the
afraid
comedy is-
to.
I
because
love
you-
it.
yeah,
That's
you can
another-
never-
that's like-
yeah, if you
it's
have-
so,
I
like-
love just me sitting there laughing through a book like
Yeah.
that's one of my favorites.
Yes, those are the best stories.
Yeah.
Whenever you're just laughing throughout the whole thing, I mean, obviously,
Yes,
even
I
if-
feel like
okay, your books, you're okay, well, no, even your books, like throughout, there's a lot of tragedy, and like, I was mad at you the one guy died and I was mad. I was actually like genuinely like, how could you do that? How could you kill this guy? How could you do it, Abigail? I trusted you. I raised you and you killed him. How could you do it?
It's the way the story went.
Yeah, wasn't that
Anyways,
like the whole point
But
of
at
the
the same
story?
time, I
anyway?
love the book because I'm laughing throughout the whole thing.
Okay, well, I actually, it's just the way that it felt right
Those are my
to
toes.
have that character die.
I understand. Okay, I'm not gonna argue with you
What I was
about
gonna
it.
say,
I'm
just
just
saying,
not.
The
But I still
It wasn't meant to be like a
John Flanagan,
random
the
death.
Ranger's Apprentice books.
Yeah.
Those are really funny.
Oh, we know.
Yes, like you even know the girl gets get like read
Yeah.
I
laugh
haven't even read any
all
of
the
them.
time. And like, well, there's evil bad guys, villains,
bad
like
guys.
yeah,
Evil bad guys. Not just
there's all
bad
kinds of
guys.
stuff.
Evil
You know,
bad
and you know they're at war all the time, but like
As opposed to good villains.
Like good bad guys.
no, there are evil bad guys and good guys.
It sounds like the Smurfs.
Yeah, I love the Smurfs. It was starts out. That's my favorite. Oh. Gargamel was
Okay, well, yeah.
evil and bad.
Like, you know,
Yeah,
people
he
die and
was
stuff like that
bad.
in
He was
those. And actually what those are is they're actually they're like they aren't young adult fiction, they're like youngerish.
Smurfs.
No, Ranger's Apprentice books.
Don't
So
interrupt.
he actually he
No, the
actually wrote
Smurfs are
those
for-
to help kids like get more into like reading is to help
People who
kids
watch
Yeah,
you
it's
know,
middle
because
grade.
like it's really funny and like you know it's like
Yes. The
it's
Rangers.
like a higher level of
It's
middle
middle
grade.
grade,
It's like you know
good.
middle.
yeah.
Anyway, yeah, we
Yeah, I
were
was just saying those are really
Stop
good
it.
books too, and you would talk about
That's
it.
a
and
good
they
point.
make you laugh.
And
Yes.
they make everyone around you laugh because you're always.
And yeah, whenever I
Simply
tell you what,
references
that is the most
ripple
wonderful
effect.
thing. Whenever you're sitting and you're minding your own business, you're working, you're doing this, and all of a sudden somebody just randomly laughs, and you're just like, yeah.
Or-
So it does. It's the ripple effect. I mean, Isabella's reading a story that this author John Flanagan.
Mhm.
So he wrote this book. Isabella's laughing. I'm sitting here doing my thing. All of a sudden, I'm laughing for no reason.
All three of the younger children are reading
Yeah.
the books together and laughing and behaving.
Yes,
Makes us
exactly.
happy.
It makes us happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're good
wow.
books too.
So yeah, but that's
Mhm, yeah.
the power of a good book.
Mhm.
Love
Makes
it.
the whole home happy.
Yeah. Okay, so again, we're closing this out. We ought to talk more about this again. I mean,
Yeah, we
obviously we're going
We're
to.
gonna harp on this thing for a long time.
We're gonna harp on everything for a long time. So anyway, no death, no stuff. Unless it's necessary.
Yeah, unless it's meaningful and impactful in a positive manner.
Yes.
You don't need to randomly massacre your characters.
Or dogs.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
All right.